Hey guys, you're watching Boondocking with Dennis. We are in Goose Island State Park, one of the many Texas state parks that we have visited. This one is in Rockport, Texas. The state park I have been to the most by far. I want to talk about a little bit about the Texas state park history, but its involvement with the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps. They say a little bit of information can be dangerous. I read a couple articles online. I have a tiny bit of information. I hope it's not dangerous. Hey, Raccoon Little Bear. Good morning, friend. Roll my intro. Franklin D. Roosevelt became president in March of 1933. Part of his New Deal was to promote conservation, public recreation, and just being outdoors and healthy. Roosevelt immediately proposed the Civilian Conservation Corps, the CCC. Proposed it to Congress as an emergency program devoted to protect our natural resources, promote outdoor recreation, and to provide useful employment for young Americans and war veterans. The CCC directly involved the federal government for the first time in the development of state and local parks. President Roosevelt said at the time, "It is my belief that what is being accomplished will conserve our natural resources, create future national wealth, and prove of moral and spiritual value, not only to those of you who are taking part, but to the rest of the country as well." That was almost 100 years ago, 90 some years ago. I'm over here benefiting from it now. If you're watching this, you're still benefiting from it. Today in Texas, 29 state parks, numerous city and county parks, and a national park exhibit distinctive buildings, structures, and facilities built by the CCC between 1933 and 1942. And the parks I've been to, some of the major works I can think of is Inks Lake State Park. Lake Corpus Christi has an awesome building. Mother Neff has some incredible structures. But it's not just the buildings, they were building roads where no roads were before. They were landscaping the land that would allow them to turn into the state parks that we still enjoy to this day. And since we're in Goose Island State Park today, Goose Island became a state park in 1931, and today is only a small part of a larger park that takes in 307 acres, largely on Lamar Peninsula in Aransas County. CCC Company 1801. A mixed race camp of Anglos and African Americans worked here during 3 6-month periods between 1934 and 1935. They constructed roads along the beach and paved them with crushed oyster shells. The enrollees built picnic units and originally finished them in a tropical manner with thatched roofs of palmetto leaves. Enrollees used oyster shells to mix into concrete and cast into blocks, which they used to form the concession building. The CCC also cleared undergrowth, planted trees, and assured protection for the big tree, an ancient coastal live oak in the park. And we have viewed the big tree many, many times. The CCC was a minimum 10% of jobless war veterans. But even outside of Texas, there were CCC companies made up of American Indians who would work on the reservations. African Americans would work side by side with Anglos. There was no racial barriers in the CCC. Just 3 months after the program started, it had employed 274,000 men working in remote camps nationwide. The quick mobilization, the training, everything about it helped America define its program when World War II started. They already had things in place. They already knew how to move people. They knew how to clothe people, all through the experience that was gained from the CCC. Recruits enrolled for 6-month periods and received $30 per month. Select men were paid $36 and $45 per month as clerks, cooks, and leaders. At least $25 of the monthly wage was sent directly to the CCC worker's family back home. The U.S. Army assigned 2 officers to each CCC company. The first 5 successful Civilian Conservation Corps park camps in Texas were established in July of 1933 at Blanco, Cato Lake, Davis Mountains, Meridian, and Palladoro Canyon. That is awesome. If you've never been to Palladoro, Caprock Canyon, those 2 parks are close to each other. I can't recommend it enough. They are stunning. Each state park built by the Civilian Conservation Corps is unique. They mostly used what was available locally. If it was a rocky area, it's rocks. If it's oyster shells, they made it out of oyster shells. State parks are just amazing. They're beautifully done, well thought out, beautifully maintained. I highly recommend you get yourself to a Texas state park, and they are addictive. Once you've been to one, you'll want to go to them all. I guess it wouldn't be one of my videos without a horrible, horrible dad joke. What do you call it when the grizzlies laugh at you before they eat you? A barrel of laughs. A barrel of laughs. Despite its accomplishments and its popularity, the CCC was never formed after World War II. It was broken up just before the war broke out. Funds and everyone's focus was on that. I really think this country could use a program like the CCC. I don't know how many people would sign up for it, but their work is still amazing. Some projects created unusual assignments at each location. The world's largest spring-fed swimming pool was at Balmora. Was built over a desert spring. Several thousand feet of Longhorn Cabin had to be dug out just to reclaim the caverns that were filled with silt and debris. There were dams built at many of the state parks to create a lake. There was roads leading to the parks had to be built. Soil conservation, the replanting of trees. It was never-ending work, excellent planning. All this was 90 years ago, and everything's still standing strong today. Well, guys, those were just some notes that I had written from some online articles that I read. Each state park has its own awesome CCC story. It's not just a group. When you start reading about each individual and their story and their struggle and how they wound up in the CCC, just amazing. Hey guys, thanks for riding along with me today. Thanks for watching.